drink some water. All right, sis, let's get into this word, okay? So we're going to be in Ephesians 4:26-27, and it says, be angry, do not sin. Don't let the sun go down on your anger, and don't give the devil an opportunity. So what that means is anytime you are experiencing rage, anger, aggression, hostility, any form, what that means is don't go to sleep in it. We are not supposed to let the sun come down on any emotions that we are feeling that is negative, right? So the inspiration to that verse is anger is a natural emotion, which means it's okay to feel. It's okay to experience the emotion. But what God says is don't go to sleep in it. Don't allow that anger to seep out and come out in the external, okay? So anger is a natural emotion. Sometimes we get angry when we encounter injustice. Other times anger manifests when our selfish plans are upended. But whether our anger is justified or not, we must deal with it before it leads us to sin, before it comes out, before we make it an action and not just the emotion. In our words or actions, we must be quick to repent and quick to forgive so that we may rest in God's peace and do not let our anger grow. So whatever is the reason you are feeling the way you are feeling, what God is saying is don't go to sleep in it. Don't allow that anger, that emotion to correlate to sin. You want to make sure you work in your heart posture. You work and see exactly what's making you angry. Why do you feel triggered? What's causing it? And allow that to just flow. Allow God to come in. Ask God to intercede in that moment, because we all know when we try to do things our way, it just does not work out for us, okay? So you have to go to God, like, God, I feel rage, I feel angry, I'm upset, and rightfully so. You have every reason to feel that way, right? It's not taken away for what that person did or how somebody mistreated you or the pain somebody caused you, but you are responsible for what you do with it, what you do with that anger, what you do with that rage. In that moment, if you are God's child, if you're trying to walk the walk and talk the talk and live a more peaceful life, you want to deal with that before it comes out, okay? Before you allow it to be an action, before that anger grows and other things starts building on top of it. Because I just remember, I come from that. Like, I come from a lot of anger. I come from a lot of rage. I come from a lot of negativity, right? A lot of lack of self-control. I was never taught how to control myself. I was never taught how to speak life, right, into situations, into things. I was not told how everything doesn't require for me to respond, right? So in this season of my life where I was healing, building a relationship with God, I asked God to help me have self-control, because that was one of my weaknesses. And the enemy knows your weaknesses. Those doors are open. So this is why we have to include God. So we allow God to work in us and through us and give us proper principles, give us proper ways to digest, our traumas, digest the bad. But I remember just being a person where I would use my words. Like, I wasn't a physical person. Like, I wasn't finna fight you, but I would definitely use my words to make somebody want to fight me. Like, that was my go-to. Like, I would cuss you out, okay? And because I know it's in me, right? This is why any moments that I am feeling rage, any moments where you are feeling anger, you go to God. Ask God to intercede, to bring you that peace, to bring you the good from it. God, what is this teaching me? What do you need me to do? And in the Bible, it says, don't go to sleep in it. Don't let the sun come down on your anger, because that means it will exude out. It will cause an action, whether it's negatively, whether it's to talk down, whether it's speak ill. It will cause something that's outside of God's will for you. There are some things you ought to be angry about, which means you have the right to be angry about certain situations that happen to you. This is not taken away from things people did. This is not taken away from how you feel. I'm a big advocate to feel how you feel, okay? But I'm also an advocate to process your feelings, to figure out the cause of it, to work to heal from that, so therefore you don't keep allowing somebody else to have control, because I don't think we realize how much we allow the other person to have control over us, right? And this is something I had to realize. I was always a snappy person. I was always the one to get upset. I was always the one to snap. But in that moment, I'm losing control, which means they have the upper hand. Why give somebody the audacity? Why give somebody that much power over your life, where they can get that out of you, where they can make you feel that type of way and you allow it to come out, right? It doesn't take away from your feelings, but you are in control of what comes out. What flows in the heart, the mouth speaks. So the words you speak in that moment of anger, that's what's in your heart. And those are the things you have to heal. Those are the things you got to call on God to intercede, because you can't do it off your own strength. Especially if that's all you know. Especially if you were brought up in it. Especially if people hurted you throughout your whole life and took things from you that you will never get back. You're going to have to include God in the midst of that. You're going to have to ask God to work in you and through you, through your rage, through your anger, through your bitterness, through your resentment. And that's what it does. That if you allow things to make you angry and you stay in it and you don't buckle down on the actual problem, you allow bitterness and resentment to bottle up in you. And you won't realize it. You won't even accept it. You won't realize that's what it is. But anytime a situation comes about in your life and that comes out, that's telling you there's a problem there and you have to solve it, or your life will be like that. That is what life will give you. Okay. And I just know, we have that what they say about Black women, we are like angry and bitter, right? I truly feel like as Black women, as a culture, we've been through a lot of stuff, right? But you have a choice to actually heal from those things. You have a choice to actually do something different that brings you more peace, that brings you more love, that fulfills you in a way that, is God ordained. Okay, so we have to take accountability. You are bitter, you are mad, you are angry, you are vengeful, you are, being spiteful because of the circumstances, because of things that life has showed you. But you have the power to control that. You have the power to change. You don't have to stay in that mess. Clean it up. I'm speaking from a space where I used to snap all the time, right? It showed up in every area of my life: friendships, relationships, family, my child, work. It showed up. I don't want to be that person. When somebody sees me, they say, oh, Jada gonna snap. She always snapping. She always mad. That's the old me. And I no longer want to live that lifestyle anymore. So in order for me not to be that person, I have to consistently work on myself. In order for you to break out of that stronghold, in order for you to break out of your bad habits and your toxic traits, you have to be intentional and go to God about things that you are weak in. And it's okay. Like, it's okay. You have proper cause. Like, it's okay. Is it probable cause? I think it's probable cause. You have reasons behind why you feel the way you feel. Get to the bottom of it though. Go to the core, right? Start healing, start processing your triggers and your emotions, so therefore you know how to have that control. That's a part of the fruit. It's in the Bible to have self-control. Ask God for it if that's something you struggle with, because I know I did. And I still have my days. I still have to lean on God, because if it was up to me, I would still use my words to cuss you out. Like, who are you? The nerve of you. Like, because it's like a ego thing. Like, what? Don't play with me. But it's not worth it. It's not worth it. You pray for them people, wish them well, and move on. In fact, if a person even comes into your life and they make you feel like you want to snap, you want to be vengeful, you want to be angry, as you working on yourself, you move them out. Okay? You move them out of your life, because you can't afford it. You can't afford it. God is too good. God has brought you too far. You can't afford to be your old self. You can't afford to react the way you used to react. No, those are tricks of the enemy. Absolutely not. We can't let him win at his own game. We got to win at our own game. Include God in the mix of all of it. Okay?